Well, hello, family, friends, loved ones, fools. Hello, hello, all, hello, self. How are you doing today? How's everything feeling? So, I've noticed some crazy, powerful, just ginormous shifts today. Like in the last 2 days, yeah, there's been a lot that has shifted and been transformed and released or integrated. And it's just like, wow, waking up today and feeling so much lighter and it's so much brighter. And I just feel like the change. And that feels really good. I appreciate, like, yeah, where I'm at right now and where I've been and where I will be. And there's so much to say right now. This is one of those days where it's like I want to talk about everything, but what really wants to be shared and expressed. Yeah. So, working with forgiveness, working in and through my process of forgiveness, taught me so much in the last couple weeks. Of course, just wow, and I'm blown away by the miracle, like the miracle of forgiveness and grace that is available if we ask for it and we're willing, like, to hold space for it, to make room for it, and or just to receive it, or just to allow it to be coming and through, and yeah, for through we, and just like letting go and observing and witnessing and just being here, a willingness to be. So yeah, I wanted to talk about forgiveness, grace, strength, faith, and receptivity. Yeah, and the miracles of forgiveness and the miracle of trust, because I've been working a lot with trust lately, and I'm beyond grateful for trust right now, like for the gift of trust, and trusting ourselves and trusting God and trusting love and trusting in this process, like trusting that I'm supported and trusting that all is well and trusting that I am held and trusting that all is healing and is healed right now. And like, yeah, it's just so amazing, really, how things are and how things become. Just blown away. What else can I say? Yeah, there's so much today in every way. So, yeah, working through forgiveness and trust, and like that gift of trust and receptivity, and that willingness to be received, that willingness to receive, that receptivity. And yeah, I've been writing a lot in my journal. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always writing something, and especially since I've been off like social media for the last almost 7 months now. It's been a good reset, to help me bring myself like back to the center of myself, my whole self, um, instead of getting sucked into like another agenda or another, yeah, idea or place that's outside of me, like in certain ways, like, yeah, to help my focus and my clarity, like to kind of step away from all the noise, the external noise out there, like in so many different ways that kept the programming continuing and going and recycling, and activated the body of pain, and um, the identities and the stories, like reinforcing like that old story, like through that continuity. And that's like, yeah, not something I wish to continue or desire to continue, because I'm like, I feel like I received what I needed to in that, like, to see like where I was playing into like the opposition or the one against like dynamic, and also the narcissist codependent, and the wounded parent, wounded child, and the please see me as worthy, please see me as right. Please see me as enough. Yeah. Please tell me I'm all right. And it's, yeah, that external validation and all of that nonsense, you know, all those silly lies. So, what else can I say today? What has shifted? Through play. Yeah, through play and creativity. And yeah, doing my writing. Last time I shared, like, only this last part of a letter that I had written for myself, really. And it was really for my wounded child, writing to my wounded parent in my own style. And so I shared like the last part of that letter last time because of, yeah, just it felt right for me to choose for myself, um, to express like what I was feeling, like what the aspect that needed, like me, needed that attention, needed that container, needed that space, needed me to receive the messages that that wounded part had for me. And it did help a lot with clarity and with like acceptance and release. And so I do like, that's the shift really coming into that acceptance, like through this forgiveness, through the power of forgiveness and through the power of trusting my own experience and like letting go and like just being willing to hold the space for healing, knowing that it's already healed. It's just coming up right now to be transmuted and transformed and alchemized and integrated, and knowing that it's all right. And like, yeah, just reconciling the two polarities. Yeah. And that totality of the whole of being, regenerating, and becoming more of who we are, becoming all that we are. And so, yeah, I just flipped open my journal to this page where it says April 10th, and I shared this dream last time about being stalked by an adversary of some kind, and I had been avoiding confronting certain things, or just kind of, yeah, playing this hide and seek game in a certain way, where there was certain things, yeah, that I was avoiding confronting, or yeah, maybe it just wasn't in the right time, or yeah, the right order. So it's like not something maybe that I wasn't doing or that I was doing. It was just like waiting for the opportunity for the space to come in and be received and all that. But yeah, there were certain things coming up in certain patterns and dynamics in certain relationships, and it had to do with like some passive aggressive stuff. And so that's like part of how like Badger came up in certain ways, where it's like, this is aggression, and this is passive aggressiveness, and like, yeah. And so it's working with Badger again, and that was funny how, yeah, I looked in my journal from December and Badger was there again. And so, yeah, maybe I'll just share a little bit about Badger before I begin with or continue. So, let's see, Badger medicine. And yeah, Badger, I hadn't really given a lot of thought to since, yeah, I mean, I work with all of the totems and all of the companions because that's just right for me, you know, like I'm connected to everything and everything's a part of me. And I just have such love for for all of our brothers and sisters and all of our kin, you know, and like, yeah, every like life and every being on this planet, like seen and unseen, like that is a part of the whole and this whole of all things. So I super appreciate the medicine and the medicine in all things, and like the medicine that we have to share and all the qualities that like we all like have within. We We all have within ourselves, and that's like, and it's an individual expression of that individuality, of that one source, of that one being, like, and we're just different expressions of that one source. And I love that, like, and how all of the reflections and teachers and companions can show us, and these allies can show us, like, how to be. And that's like, it's funny in a lot of ways. Yeah, how to be. I don't think, I mean, I don't think it should be that hard. Like, yeah, but that's something I've been working on, working with, and playing with for the last 5 years. Like, how to be, like, show up and be yourself. Okay, yes, I'm willing to do that. But how? Like, I don't know how to be myself. Like, how do I just be? Like, instead of playing or doing. Like, yeah, and so working with not doing in certain ways, like the state of non-doing, and like the flow state, and the fluidity, and the wu wei, effortless actions, yeah, and all of that, like through surrendering and being, yeah, it's just kind of fun, like, yeah, to play around with, and just to observe, and just, yeah, receive it to the best of my abilities, to make the space and open and willing and trusting, yeah, that I'll receive all I need. And so it is a cool kind of dance. Like, it is like super kind of fun and interesting. Like, yeah, how it all is and how it gets to be. Yeah. But so let's see what Badger has to say in Medicine Cards by Jamie Sampson, David Carson. And Badger 29. That's interesting. 29. Badger aggressiveness. Badger, 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 until you reach your goal. Know the inner power that lives in your soul. Badger is vicious and attacks with powerful aggression. Badger is quick to anger and quicker to pounce. The power of Badger's medicine is aggressiveness and the willingness to fight for what it wants. The very thought of facing Badger makes other animals run for cover. Like Skunk, Badger's reputation precedes it. Its hissing fangs will tear less aggressive opponents to shreds. Badger is the medicine of many powerful medicine women, for Badger is also the keeper of the medicine roots. Badger sees all the roots of Mother Earth's healing herbs hanging in its burrow home. These roots are a key to aggressive healing. Roots can ground negative energy into the earth by allowing illness to pass through a body into the ground as neutral energy. Badger medicine people are quick to act in a crisis, and they do not panic. If Badger is a part of your medicine, you are quick to express your feelings, and you do not care what the consequences are. Badger people oftentimes insist on carrying the ball for the touchdown. This attitude, however, does not endear them to their teammates. Badger medicine may also point to the aggressive healer who will have the courage to use unconventional means to exact a cure. Like the mother who sits for days nursing a child with high fever, Badger is willing to persist. Badger people can be vicious gossips or may exhibit a chip on the shoulder syndrome if they are out of balance. You can be sure that people with Badger medicine will be aggressive enough to make it to the tops of their chosen fields because they do not give up. They are also the finest healers because they will use any and all methods to ensure healing and will not give up on the critically ill. A Badger person is often the boss and the one that everyone fears. That same boss will surely keep any company afloat. Badger gets the job accomplished. Badger's certainty is a source of strength. If Badger pushed its way into your cards today, it may be telling you that you have been too meek in trying to reach some goal. Badger asks you how long you are willing to sit and wait for the world to deliver your silver spoon. In this medicine, the key is to become aggressive enough to do something about your present state of affairs. Badger is teaching you to get angry in a creative way and say, I won't take it anymore. You must follow up by keeping your eye on the goal. Honor the healing process as you express those inner feelings. Be aggressive, but don't cut others to ribbons on the way. That is too much aggression. Use your anger to stop your lolling around so that your doldrums of apathy are a thing of the past. Badger is a powerful medicine when properly used for self-improvement. Remember that Badger may be signaling a time when you can use your healing abilities to push ahead in life. Heal yourself by aggressively removing the barriers that don't grow corn. Cut away the dead wood and use Badger's aggression to seek new levels of expression. Use Badger's medicine roots to keep grounded and centered in the process. Oh, I thought that was pretty awesome, like for so many reasons. And when I first flipped open the book, I did land on skunk, and that's funny that Badger, this little entry mentions skunk. And yeah, skunk is reputation and it's self-respect. And yeah, and it is about like directing our energy wisely and knowing how to repel and attract. And yeah, and knowing or looking at certain areas where we may have energy drains or energy leaks. And so I think that's pretty cool. So, but we'll just go ahead and read the contrary for Badger as well, because there's always value like in seeing like the other side. And I always get something from that. So, contrary. Oops, here comes Badger upside down and fuming. This could mean that you are being chewed out by someone else or that you have expressed your anger in an unhealthy way. If this applies to you, remember that all anger stems from anger toward the self. It is an anger of helplessness that is misdirected toward others. If you are angry at a coworker for telling the boss that you are looking for another job, you are really angry at yourself for not keeping your own secret. If you are angry at your children for disobeying, it is usually anger that stems from fear for the children's well-being. The self-anger condition is usually present when you have silly accidents, falls, cuts, and scrapes, or when you find yourself bumping into furniture. Badger in the contrary position can issue in a time of reflection on what you feel helpless about. Is it your lack of aggressiveness or initiative? Is it your fear of being blasted or belittled if you present a new idea? Maybe it is time when you need to get in touch with your own jealousy or envy of others who are willing to put themselves on top through hard work. In the reverse, Badger teaches you the pitfalls of shyness and insecurity as well as of misused or vicious aggression. Go to your feelings. Maybe you just need to let off steam. If so, scream into a pillow and then punch it a few times. It will surely put Badger back into balance. Badger can be difficult medicine, and learning to use it properly is a rare gift. In another context, contrary Badger could be calling you to use herbs and roots to heal your body. Badger reversed may also be putting you on notice to be aware of those areas of your life that need the input of someone else's aggressive creativity to spark your own. In any case, contrary Badger speaks of a need for more aggressive action in life. No more inactivity can prevail without creating pain of some kind. So that leads me to believe, and receive that, like, it's about taking that action to express care, that care that we need for ourselves. Yeah, and that's what I've been working with as well. Yeah. Caring and acting through that care. And that form of self-care. Acting. Yeah. With the intention of self-care and healing. Yeah. And putting our efforts in. Yeah. All that. So I'll just leave it there for now. But yeah, the roots. And that's what there was something I was thinking about today too, like getting to the root of it, getting to the root of the wound and the root of the story to claim the fruit. Yeah. So that's what I've been choosing. And also, like, yeah, getting grounded. And yeah, it's about protecting the home as well and being close to the earth and calling on her. Yeah. Partnering with her. Yeah. Being in relationship with her. Because that's what it's all about, our relationships. And the relationship that we have with ourself, capital S, self. And ours also, like this little self, who we think we are, who we believe we are. Yeah. who we've been told we are. Sometimes, like, that's who we think we are, but that's not really who we are or all that we are. Yeah. So it's kind of funny that way. And so, yeah, I had asked myself, conceal, like, I wonder if this is symbolic of the things or aspects that emerge from my unconscious that I don't want to confront or meet or allow or receive. Are they threatening to me or uncomfortable or unwelcome or excluded, not claimed, unclaimed aspects or energies that are misaligned or misdirected or have been rejected? Are they in need of acknowledgement and confrontation to help me move forward and be free of these distractions or mind traps, booby mind traps? What am I avoiding or protecting or defending myself from, blocking or resisting, playing at being, giving my energy to, or my power away? Where am I giving my power away? Yeah. And yeah, it's just interesting, like, where the not enough stories that were coming up and how much I got to see about that. And with the letter that I shared, that was like, yeah, kind of written in a way to my dad, but also like to other members of the family, where I was trying to reconcile some things and understand and also let go and be at peace. And so I do, like, I feel like huge things have shifted since then, since I wrote that and since I shared it. And I was able to see some certain things that I really like with new and brighter clarity, just from allowing myself to express like how I was feeling and just dump it onto the page and not judge it. And yeah, it was interesting because like I saw like how I can have compassion and more allowance and more acceptance through really seeing that heart, like really seeing the light, like in the truth of who we are, like remembering that truth of who we really are, and knowing, like, because I love my dad so much and I love his heart and I know his heart, and it's just like some of his choices, behaviors, actions, or just ways of operating, like it was hard for me to accept or reconcile, like because I see such like good intentions on one hand and then such fear on the other hand, and then seeing like the people in fear being used as a weapon, that was like heartbreaking to me. And I just couldn't understand why they couldn't see like how they were being used, and to hurt and to divide and to separate, and like through these lie stories and old core beliefs. And yeah, and it's just something that I needed to see for myself as well, like, and I got to forgive myself, like, for not knowing and for causing harm, even though like I had good intentions. And so it was like, yeah, that was one of my biggest fears that came up a couple years ago that just kept coming up, like, and yeah, so I was like, yeah, we need to face our own demons and we need to face our own fears, like, and yeah, mine were like that I was deathly and terrified and afraid that I was going to harm like those that were closest to me, those that I loved the most, and those that are innocent, and like, yeah, that's that harming of innocence, or that betrayal of innocence, or that loss of innocence through that ignorance, you know? And that's what I was like very upset about. Like I was so angry that like there is like, you know, this ability to receive, and this like divine intelligence that we have within we to receive, and yeah, to allow to come through and be expressed through our being. through our authenticity, through our awakened open hearts, and yeah, through our soul's creativity. And it was just hard to reconcile the fact that, like, they're not able, yeah, to consider something else or to open to their own, like, energy. And yeah, that was my perception anyway. But I was, yeah, punishing myself in a lot of ways, or angry with myself for past mistakes and past betrayals. And maybe, yeah, what I held on to because I thought it was mine and I thought I needed to do penance, or it was just like this old guilt, like carrying this guilt around, this guilt and this shame and this pain around because of, yeah, the harm and the separation, the wounds of separation. And I was able to see that, like, wow, I know you're doing your best with what you have, with where you're at, and with what you believe you know and are being told and shown. And, like, so I can forgive myself and I can forgive all others, and I can know that wherever people are right now, like, that's where they get to be right now. And that's what they get to work with, and that's what they get to play with, and that's what they get to learn through right now. Instead of, like, judging, condemning, oh, it's all wrong, it's all wrong, it's all fucked, you know? And because of my own fears about, like, because I've been here before and I know, like, what this formula is and how the scapegoat, boogeyman, savior, damsel, knight in shining armor, hero to the rescue, like, I know how that goes. And it is like, yeah, the knight in shining armor becomes like the prison guard and the schoolyard bully, you know, like it does, like the pendulum that swings to the right and then it goes the same to the left. And so it's just, yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, like what we create, like we become what we despise, or we become what we loathe, or we become what we fear and hate, you know? And so I can see that happening, and it's just like, oh, it's a train wreck. Oh, it's a train wreck outside. I can't oh, fuck. You know? And so it was just like really, yeah, coming back to me and like where I was hurting, and or my inner child, my wounded child was asking like for healing and allowance and permission to be and to speak and to express, release, yeah, what was needed. And like for that healing and that revealing to see, yeah, the true vision of who we are, remembering who we are, like really. And so it's like really like if we could get over ourselves sometimes and that attachment to who we think we are, we can get through to our real whole self. Yeah. Yes. And claim all that we are. And then there's really, you know, no need to be against anything. Like, but like Badger medicine said, it's like, yeah, healthy boundaries. And I'm not going to take this anymore. Use that anger for help, for healing, aggressive healing, like aggressively. Yeah, using that like to exact a cure. So that's what I feel I've been doing in certain ways too. And I have been working on like showing up and also like claiming my self-worth and my value, and working on self-confidence, you know, too, like because of the ways that I always saw myself as not enough and not good enough. And like there's always that self-doubt. And even though I know I carry like a lot of wisdom and a lot of love, I was always looking at myself through the lens of the judge and seeing that I was not enough. And now it's just like, okay, I see that as total bullshit, and thank you, bullshit, for showing me that I am enough. So this is what I've been working on and working through and playing with. And I have a soul collage card here that I made in January, like I think the 1st of January. It's a white buffalo. I decide my story. I am worthy. I am safe, and I am protected. And so, yeah, it's about like that feeling of safety and that sacred space and those healthy boundaries. And what am I willing to experience? And what am I, willing to show up for? And what am I willing to accept? And what am I willing to include? And what am I willing to release? And what am I willing to heal? Or like, what am I willing to surrender so that it can be fully healed? Like, instead of holding on to it, like, because it's this, like letting go of it. And so, yeah, there's just some of it. That's just a small part of it. But yeah, just through this self-expression and through like my own permission to like allow myself to be all I am, like perfectly imperfect, all of me, my love for all of me, all my love for all of me. Working with that and through that, with this like gift that I've been given, and really seeing like the fruit of my efforts and what's becoming and what's been manifested. And it is like all about that. Like, we're the creators of our reality. Like, we create as we see, like, and yeah, as we perceive and as we believe. Like, it is creating our reality, like through the beliefs that we reinforce or give our energy to. And so, yeah, there's that to look at and consider. And yeah, what else could I share? I have written so much in the last 20 days. Like, I started this journal 20 days ago, and I'm 3/4 of the way through it today. And yeah, this morning I had just like some inspiration, and I wrote like over 10 pages. Just stuff wanted to, be expressed and just flow out. Yeah, and I'm grateful for the power of the imagination. Yeah, and it's all about creation. Yeah, becoming all we are, becoming who we are, becoming this love that we really are, and that, this love for ourselves that we are, and that we get to be together with each other, for each other, through all, like, the one that we get to be, through loving all that we be. Yes, this one that we are, through all that we be. So the I am and the we are. Yeah. And it's just so cool, like all these things. So I've been writing down some things about the astrology that's happening, and we just had our new moon in Aries yesterday, and there's some incredible alignments and dance of the planets at play that's like really freaking sweet to see. And it's about like Venus and Chiron and Pallas Athene and all those players. And Chiron and Venus and the sun and the moon all in Aries. And Aries is the initiator and the spark and the divine thrusting phallic force, and to propel us and move us forward and spark like that creativity. And and it's all about like charging ahead and moving ahead and moving forward, and all of that, and about the light and the sun and the exaltation and the liberation, and from the dark into the light. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah, this amazing transition that we're in right now. And wow, like, it's been both easy and hard. Yeah, it's all of it. So this is what I wrote. the ray of the great sun, the fire of purification, the fallen patriarchy, transmutation, Aries new moon, cardinal sign, the head, the emperor, the sun exalted, new moon square to Pluto, conjunct the sun in Eris, rising force, revolution, Aries squares Capricorn. 15th path is the ability to direct and receive, Mercury in Aries, 14 degrees. Venus in Aries, conjunct the new moon and the sun, exact square to Pluto. Mars exalted in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn. Pallas Athene, 11 degrees, Pisces. Wisdom, justice, the power of the higher mind. Chiron, Aries, 9 degrees, teach power and learn how to claim it. Aries, Ceres, or Eris and Ceres in Aries. The moon and the sun at 22 degrees. Awakening the Grail King, the Christic force that serves the whole of humanity, the Emperor, calling forth the wisdom to balance and express true power. I am and we are. The true I am is true vision, superconsciousness, rejuvenation, and regeneration. Hold space to remember and remind ourselves of who we are. What do we want? Claim the truth of who we are. So I was just listening to a podcast, and those are the notes that I took, and inspired by Shannon Port and her sharing of the Divine Alchemy and the Goddess Report, and I super appreciate her. I've been following her since 2012, and really just super grateful for all the lights and teachers in my life, that have come forward to serve and assist humanity in this time of healing and transition into who we really are. This is kind of fun, to play with and to take notes and to observe different things and just to see, how certain things relate. As above, so below. The power of 3, fertility, imagination and receptivity, clarity, trust and hospitality, grace, motherhood and midwifery, the body of light, the Christ child, the love child, the child of God, mother, father, daughter, son, sisters, brothers, everyone. Gifts, blessings, stars above, so below as above, creating our reality through focus, attention, and clarity, self-confidence, self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-ownership, and clarity. Letting go of others and what they get to choose for their own soul growth, lessons, learning, progression. Bless them, thank them, love them, celebrate and praise them, release them, allow them, wish them well, forgive them, honor them, and be with them as best I can. Seek to understand rather than be understood, but release my attachments and know it is all good. It is all God. God is. All is good. All is well and all is right. All is well. All is love. All is loved and all is right. All is being healed right now. All is healed and all is well. So it is, and so let it be. Yeah, just something I wrote yesterday for the 11th, And I was just thinking to myself that it was just it's just some things get to be awkward sometimes, and awkward is a part of authenticity, because authenticity isn't always charm and fluid and free and pretty. So it's not always pretty and polished and or pleasant or pleasing. It just gets to be what it is. So authenticity. Thanks for the gift of authenticity and for being real, for being the full and for being full and letting go and not knowing, and that humility, that humility that brings us back to who we really are. And because sometimes our egos get really puffed up, and then we get really, really rigid because we have to defend and preserve our identity or our false image, our false self-image. And then we can get stuck, or it can be our own undoing. Where we fall pretty hard. We can fall pretty hard. The less we're willing to bend on certain things, that can really, really break us and make us fall hard from the pedestal. of our own making, or yeah, silly, our own silliness, like our own silly rigidities. But yeah, so there's some thoughts like that it's okay to be like all we are, even the parts like that, yeah, we haven't really liked or cared for. And those are just distortions of who we thought we were or who we thought we are. And, all they're asking for is purification or release or integration, forgiveness and acceptance, and a place to be. A place to be and to be harmonized and included so that the whole can be full and free, like full and free to be. And it's just like, yeah, clearing those distortions, and then purifying, yeah, purifying our minds, really, like the poison from the mind, what we no longer need to carry, like what's not no longer aligned. So resurrection, reconnection, intimacy, and regeneration, true reception, rebirth, and rejuvenation, creator, sustainer, destroyer, regenerator, renewer, the Son, the soul, the self, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the mother, the daughter, the sister, the friend, the teacher, the healer, the shaman, the companion, the twin, sunshine rays, sunbeams, portals, galaxies, rainbows, stars, multiple suns, and the cosmic egg, the sacred heart, the sacred flame, the zero, the fool, the empress, emperor, lovers, magician, the guardian, the ego, the gatekeeper, the innocent, the wise one, the high priestess, flowers, flower women, gardens, seeds, hearth, home, plants, and soil, roots, fruit, and blessings, sending out love and inviting, welcoming all good things, God's love alive inside of me and we, God's love alive in everything, God's love alive in every being. So it is, so let it be. Yeah, see the light. And, so yeah, I had some kind of an interesting dream this morning where, like, I know there was way more to it, but I just wrote down what I could recall in certain themes. And yeah, so I'll just share that for a minute because it relates, and yeah, we'll see what else wants to be expressed and shared, and yeah, and what gets to be. So this big ape of a guy is pawing me and not taking no for an answer. I'm resisting his advances. I'm pushing the slapping and swatting him away, yelling no and calling for help. Yeah, I'm calling to my friend for help, to call the police. This guy is clearly not present. He's engaged in his own reality and of instant gratification and desire, carnal appetites, seeing me as an object to be used or commodified, taken at will, yeah, and devalued. Yeah. It's planned obsolescence. It's like the fear and desire cycle, like where, yeah, it's all about like right now and like getting that need met, like right now for the ego's sense of self, like, and it's like that entitlement and that victim mentality, that poverty consciousness, victim consciousness programming in a certain way, like that does control our emotional or work through or hijack us through the emotional pain body in a lot of ways, because we're so fixated or fixed on getting or taking, because we don't believe that we can receive in certain ways or that we're undeserving. So it kind of creates some reversal or inversion, yeah, and believing that we have to take from someone else or rape, yeah, someone else of their energy or their free will. Yeah, so just kind of looking at those things in certain ways. Yeah, super annoyed, and I'm repelled by this guy and his demanding, overbearing force of desire. He's big, buff, built, but he's not attractive to me. He's really a big ape or a beast that has no charm or ability to reason from the higher mind. And no ability for to create that space for intimacy. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was like, oh my God, like this overbearing, oppressive force, like maybe almost to like relating to a father wound of that fallen patriarchy. Yeah. And yeah, I will let that percolate and see if there's anything else that wants to be, yeah, said about that. But I feel like, yeah, it was in a way like, so like we're all in our own bubbles. We have our own worlds, our own perception of reality. So we are in our own bubbles, in our own worlds. And it's just kind of interesting how, like, we can be so unaware, yeah, of others and, like, what's going on, like, in our own space or how we're directing our own energy because we're carried away by these roles that we play or these desires or these fears, and we can get in our own way. So, yeah, and then cause harm and destruction, or, yeah, play out certain patterns that do cause harm. So, it's just, yeah, something that just came in. So, we'll just work with that and play with that and let it sink in, and we'll see what emerges. But, yeah, and then there's this other part of the dream where I was going to borrow a swimming suit from a friend. I was going to go for a trip to the hot springs, and I didn't have a bathing suit with me, and I was going to borrow a bathing suit from a friend, but she only had like two pieces, and I knew they weren't going to be the right size for me, but like still, it was like, yeah, maybe I'll just see what I have to work with, and like what I can borrow or what I can just put on, like what it can slip into. And yeah, I was gonna like see how these things worked. Maybe there was more than two choices because I knew I could mix and match, you know. And also, like, I could choose not to go as well, but like, it's kind of funny. It was like, I'm going on a little trip looking to borrow a bathing suit, but there's only two choices, or there's more, really. Since there are two-piece swimming suits, maybe they can be mixed and matched, but the fit still may not be right for me at this time, or I may not feel comfortable or presentable in the light in someone else's style or suit or eyes. And I feel like kind of slightly annoyed with my friend in the dream because she kind of still like she has this pushy way of being, and she has like certain agendas that are self-serving, and she's not quite aware of people pleaser and unconscious strategies at play. Maybe just emotional neediness or the not enough as I am BS myths and stories. So it relates. Yeah. I always look at me, parts of me, you know, of this, yeah, story and these different characters that I get to play. So, because, yeah, so these projected reflections, or, yeah, what is this about? Because I'm worried about what the suit will look like on me because it doesn't really fit me. I'm more worried about the appearance, or am I worried about the functionality? I'm more concerned about will this look on me rather than how does this feel for me. And so, yeah, there's some good messages there. Like, and yeah, worrying about being judged or, yeah, not being enough. Like, really, like, focus so much on appearances, really, than how does this actually feel, or, and trusting my intuition. Like, worried more about how it's going to look or how I'm going to look or how I'm going to be perceived or received rather than like being true to me or what fits best for me, like what feels best for me. Yeah. And then just like letting go of how I think it's going to look or how it's going to be received or if it's judged or how I'm perceived. Yeah. And really just coming back to me, like is this true for me? Does this feel right for me? Those kinds of things. And like maybe we try on different suits and different outfits and different costumes and different roles, and sometimes they fit us really well, and maybe we get attached to them, and that's why we believe that's who we are, and then it's really painful to let go of, like, later on. Or like, yeah, sometimes we're just like wearing like old roles that no longer fit us anymore, and yeah, and it is like kind of an ill fit, or it's just misaligned, or it's just, yeah, just looking at some of those things. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. And also, yeah, just looking at like, what do I get to choose for me? And like, can I, even though like it's not the right fit for me, or it doesn't feel like, yeah, like it fits me, like, can I just work with what I have and with where I'm at right now, and then ask for another choice, or be grateful, like, for what has fit me in the past, and be willing to let go of it to find a better fit, like, or like just be in the process, and then, yeah, trusting it, letting go of the way things appear to be, yeah, in favor of what they really are feeling like for my well-being, and for taking care of my needs, showing up for me, and serving we, and the love that I get to show up for and choose to receive for me. So yeah, there's some good things that came in today, and I do feel like a lot more receptive. And like a couple days ago, it was just like I was getting that message, say yes to what you want, say yes. And so, and I was kind of like in a heavier place, like trying to process some things, some dense things, and some, yeah, some heaviness, some old hurt, and old suppressed feelings. But I was getting that message and that nudge to say yes, say yes. And at the time, it was just like all I could do is like, okay, I'm not feeling it, but yes, okay, yes to gratitude. Like, it's really hard to feel that gratitude right now, but yes, yes, I invite gratitude. And then surrendering it, because I knew it was already there and available and accessible, and there's so much to be grateful for. Just because I couldn't feel it, like, didn't mean that it wasn't already here for me, or already within me, and already available to access. And like just inviting it, and just like, okay, yes to gratitude, thank you. And then like seeing, yeah, how it brought all of those things to my attention that actually do, like, express and honor like those feelings of gratitude, and like those gifts that have been given, and honoring those gifts, like, that are, like, yeah, already here and being offered, and that have been like so abundant. It's, yeah, just looking at all those things, and looking at all that. So, wow, things have really shifted and lightened up today. New rays of light activating and assisting me and we, coming through and healing, transmuting old patterns through divine alchemy, forgiveness, trust, and faith, sacred grace, compassion, love, and humility, willingness, innocence, and receptivity. So thank you, love, so much for this gift of I am enough. We are enough. Thank you, love, for all this trust, this gift of love and clarity through trust, our willingness to let go, accept, and trust, presence and receptivity, my willingness to show up. Gratitude for these opportunities to know, live, love, remember, allow, accept, integrate, honor, purify, and free all I really am, all we really are. We are this love we need, so be. Surrender, remember, let go, and receive. Be willing to hold the space for healing, remembrance, and clarity. So, receptivity and compassion for love to be. Yes to wholeness, yes to strength, yes to clarity, truth, and grace. Yes to acceptance, yes to peace, yes to growth, discovery, and alchemy. Yes to fullness and transmuting these old distortions that keep me from me, we, or keep me against me. Yes to healing, yes to joy and creativity. Yes to learning, yes to experiencing, yes to being all we are. Yes to play and engagement, yes to love and creation, yes to open hearts. Yes to open and honest communication, true engagement, yes to integrity and true connection. Communication through divine reason, true vision of the heart. Heal through the awakened, opened heart. Yes to compassion and humility, yes to forgiveness and release, yes to transmutation, transformation, and empowering ways of being all we are. Yes to belonging and inclusivity, yes to boundaries and sacred space, yes to wholeness, fullness, and our divine sovereignty, yes to wellness, yes to ease, yes to challenges that serve and grow me and we, yes to change, and yes to faith, yes to trust and surrendering, yes to oneness and multiplicity, yes to the individual and the community. Yes to the one, yes to the all, yes to the heart, yes to the soul, yes to the body, mind, and sacred temple, yes to the healing happening now. Yes to all the gifts, blessings, opportunities, and miracles. Yes to being, creating, becoming, and discovering all we really are. Becoming one through all we are. Becoming one through loving all we are. Becoming one through being all we are. Yes to self-expression, yes to true connection, yes to trust reception, yes to divine reason, yes to divine knowing, yes to trusting our own deepest experience, yes to transformation, yes to all we are, yes to loving, being, remembering, envisioning, and claiming all we are. Yes to all individual expressions of the one source, all sun, stars, and rays of light of the one great sun. Yes to remembrance, yes to radiance, yes to shining, yes to opening, softening, and strengthening, and becoming all we are. Yes to gratitude, wholeness, fullness, trust, faith, grace, and strength. I'm so grateful today for the beauty and simplicity of trust, faith, ease, and grace, forgiveness, acceptance, compassion, humility, trust, and receptivity, a willingness to be through holding sacred space. Thank you for the healing and all that gets to be. Thank you for the healing taking place. We get to become more fully aware of our patterns, thoughts, and beliefs, our filters, programs, stories, and ways of operating, our perceived roles, masks, personas, and identities, attachments of who we think or believe we are. We get to become more aware of the personal power we have to influence and shape our reality, our own world. We get to become more aware of our creative energy and how we direct it, reject it, avoid it, or honor it, accept it. We get to become more aware of who we really are and who we've played at being. We get to become aware of all we are. We get to become more aware of what it means to be human. We get to become more aware of where we've denied or given our power away. We get to become more aware of our own creative energy and how we choose to operate in the world. We get to become more aware of our relationships and our personal and collective dynamics. We get to become more aware of our relationships we have with ourselves. We get to become more aware of our operating systems and unconscious and conscious programs, our beliefs, identities, attachments, agendas, and survival strategies. We get to become more aware of our fullness, wholeness, and integrity. We get to become more aware of our choices and how we co-create our own realities, perceptions, and experiences. We get to become more aware of our beliefs, myths, lies, and stories. We get to become more aware of our responsibilities. We get to become more aware of our emotional responses, drives, and reactions. We get to become more aware of our fears and desires. We get to become more aware of our concepts, constructs, and filters, remembering who we are. When we get to become more aware of our stages, cycles, phases, processes of growth and creation. We get to become more aware of our belonging and the parts we played within creation. We get to become more aware of our needs, wellness, and inner knowing. We get to become more aware of our right to choose, our power to love, our power to be and transform everything. We get to experience ourselves as one being through loving all we are. Yes to loving, living, giving, being, sharing, and receiving, becoming all we really are. Becoming all we are. Yes to prosperity, growth, and change. Yes to forgiveness and the freedom to be. Yes to life. And yes to me, we. Yes to peace, love, joy, and harmony. Yes to liberation and sovereignty. Yes to being fully free. And loving all through loving me. Yes to all these gifts and blessings, power and responsibilities. Yes to wisdom, truth, justice, beauty. Yes to honesty and transparency. Yes to allowance and integrity. Yes to healthy boundaries. Yes to sacred space. Yes to inclusivity, healing, and discernment. Yes to honoring all ways of being. Yes to forgiveness and remembering. Yes to freedom and accountability. Yes to revealing and reclaiming, healing all we are, all this love we are. Yes to courage, strength, authenticity. Yes to vulnerability and awakened hearts opening. Yes to allowance and receptivity. Yes to trust, faith, grace, humility. Yes to surrender and participating and releasing all that we no longer need to carry. Yes to our remembering, becoming all we are. That was the last, little bit that I wrote for today. But yeah, that really is like, it just like felt right. Like, yeah, this feels like something that really wants to come through right now. And I get to focus on this and I get to ask for this. So thank you. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, life. Yes. Yeah, that's what I want to create. That's what I want to be. That's what I want to see. And that's what I choose for me. And so, yeah, there's some fun things that came up. And yeah, I'm still processing a lot of it. And I do feel it. I do feel it. I know, like, there's so much that has been, like, lifted and released and, received and transformed and transmuted. Like, and it hasn't been, like, the easiest time, but there has been ease within it. And, it's really all fine. Like, just, like, the challenges that are coming up, too, like, for us to show us what we're capable of and what we can break through. Like, we can break open and we can break through. And I do have more to share about, like, fire, the sun, and this healing mantra that came up today. It was interesting because I just flipped it open. I was going to look for a mantra to help with fear. And I just flipped it open to this page from Healing Mantras, Thomas Ashley Ferrand, Healing with Rama Mantras. And I would like to share that in the next video. And it does have to do with, like, the chakras on our feet. And, like, there's this story that's told in this book before the mantra. And I wanted to share that. And it was like, yeah, that relates to getting grounded and, like, our stability and our support and connection to the earth. And, like, that, the medicine, the roots. Yeah. And, like, the root of our own being and the truth of our own being, like, remembering who we are and holding that space and asking for reminders and being that remembrance of who we really are, all the love we really are. So I'm so grateful for this gift of forgiveness and this gift of trust and faith, trusting my own deepest experience and receiving all this grace and this healing, and all in and through all ways. And so thank you, Badger Medicine, for reminding me, like, that any and all methods, employ any and all methods, like, that are available, like, for that healing and to exact that cure. So we all have the answers inside of us, and we have so many resources and so much love, like, within and all around us that are cheering for us and celebrating us and praising us and blessing us and thanking us for the work and just, like, for being who we are and for being willing to open to all that we are and for being willing to hold that space, honor that space, like, for that healing, for it to occur. Yeah. So Many, many loves and blessings. Happy new moon energy. We're in this window for the next couple days, and it's super powerful and potent. I love you all. Love always. Okay, I'll talk to you again soon. We'll see you for now.